Okay, today we are going to begin with where we left off last time. Last time we did the posterior pituitary, the hormones it releases via the hypothalamus. Today is going to be the anterior pituitary to get us started. Is the anterior pituitary in the front or the back? It's in the front. That's what anterior means. It is nicknamed the master gland. But further research and study shows that there's actually something in your brain that actually controls this master gland. What is it? It is, although it is called the master gland, it is controlled by your hypothalamus. It's like if your head coach is the pituitary, who's the principal? The hypothalamus. Very good, Cooper. All right. The reason why it's called the master gland is because it can actually regulate the activity of other glands. There are going to be a total of 6 hormones that you will need to know. They are amino acid based. So are they polar or non-polar? They are what? Steroids are non-polar. These are polar. So can they diffuse through the plasma membrane of a cell? So do they need a second signal transduction pathway? Yes. All right, now, guys, of these 6 hormones, 4 of the 6 are called tropic hormones. Very important term. A tropic hormone is also called a tropin. A tropic hormone, by definition, is a hormone that tells another gland what to do and how to regulate. Okay, so before I go into all 6, let's see if you guys can tell me what all 6 are, and then we'll identify which 4 out of 6 can actually instruct and regulate other glands. So I don't care what order you tell me, but let's get started somewhere. Can you tell me any of the 6 hormones that your anterior pituitary secretes? What's that? Luteinizing hormone. Very good. LH. 1 down, 5 to go. What's another? Huh? Growth hormone, GH. Good. Keep them coming. Follicle stimulating hormone. Yes. FSH. 3 down, 3 to go. Nolan? What's ACTH? Yes. Adrenocorticotropic hormone. You learned that one last Friday. All right, 2 more. Prolactin, PRL. And 1 more. Thyroid stimulating hormone. Very good. Okay. Now, let's see if you can pinpoint which ones are tropic hormones. We're going to highlight them in yellow. These are hormones that actually can instruct other glands to regulate. Yep, that tells your adrenals what to do. 3 more. No, growth hormone targets your muscles and bones. Those are not glands. Luteinizing hormone targets your testes and ovaries. Yes. No, that targets your muscles and bones. Those are not glands. I'm looking for hormones that regulate other glands. Follicle stimulating hormone targets your testes and ovaries. 1 more. Oh, I highlighted the wrong one. There you go. What does that regulate? Your thyroid. Your thyroid stimulating hormone regulates your thyroid. Those 6, or excuse me, those 4 are tropic hormones. So let's get started with the first one I have on my list. and that is growth hormone. Growth hormone is GH. You need to be able to identify a hormone by its abbreviation. Growth hormone is called, or it's also known as something called somatotropin, is what I'm trying to say. Somatotropin. Do you remember what the prefix soma means? Body. It is a hormone for your body. It does not target other glands. It is an anabolic hormone. The word anabolic means building. Like it is building you up. When you guys hit puberty, you had a lot of growth hormone. I still remember the feeling in my legs when they were getting longer, when I was in middle school and high school. Some of you may still feel that a little bit, but being 16, 17, 18 is starting to slow down. It's not as active as it was when you were 13, 14. Growth hormones targets. When I say growth hormone, what parts of your body or what organ systems are actually getting literally bigger? Bones and muscles. What kind of muscles? Skeletal, smooth, or cardiac? Skeletal muscles. When you feel that those growing pains in your legs, those are literally your muscles in your bones getting longer. You can feel it. When do you think this happens for the most part? Are you awake or are you asleep? It happens mostly while you sleep. Okay. On Friday, I'm going to teach you a lot of different diseases and disorders, and I'll teach you gigantism and acromegaly, which is where you have way too much growth hormone. It's hypersecreting, and you can get disturbingly large, like the Big Show or Andre the Giant, those wrestlers who are super big. All right, next one. Number 2. Adrenocorticotropic, you really got to sound it out, hormone. ACTH. Its name is also known as corticotropin. It is a tropic hormone. This is a new word for you, so I'm just going to be repeating myself a lot. That's how people learn. Repetition, repetition, repeating and repeating. A tropic hormone instructs other glands what to do. Just by looking at the name, adrenocorticotropic, what gland does adrenocorticotropic hormone regulate? Your adrenal glands. Very good. It stimulates the adrenal cortex to release cortisol. When I was in high school, I had a chocolate lab who was near the end of his life. He kind of had arthritis and hip dysplasia. So every now and then our veterinarian would give him a cortisol shot. It reduced the pain and it made him feel more comfortable. Cortisol is a steroid. Let me make that, actually I'll get to that when we get to the adrenal glands. But our bodies naturally make a natural painkiller called cortisol. You just have to trigger its release. And ACTH is what does that. It stimulates the release of cortisol, which is a stress reliever and an anti-inflammatory. Somewhat, yeah. Well, different pain meds do different things, like they can block certain nerves so you can't feel pain. Okay. Next one, number 3. Thyroid stimulating hormone. Now, you don't need to be number 1 in your class to figure out what this means. What hormone, what gland does this hormone stimulate? Yeah. It is also known as thyrotropin. As the name suggests, it is a tropic hormone, which means it tells another gland what to do. It tells your thyroid what to do. This hormone stimulates normal development and activity of the thyroid gland. Where is your thyroid located? In your neck. We're going to get to that a little later. Okay. Three down, three to go. All right, number 4 and 5. We're going to call them gonadotropins. This includes your follicle stimulating hormone. All right. Now, FSH affects males and females. It just depends on, it really does depend on your gender and your gonads. What are the male gonads? So this stimulates sperm production in males. So if you're producing sperm, that must mean that the target is your testes. The testes are the male gonad. And in females, what does it stimulate? If it stimulates sperm production in males' testes, what does it do in females? Not the shedding, no, not yet. It stimulates egg maturation in females. Now, girls, you don't make, by definition of that word, make or produce. You're not producing eggs. You did that while you were still in your mom. You have all the eggs you're ever going to have, but the eggs are not ready. Follicle stimulating hormone gets them ready, prepares them. Your egg is inside a kind of a casing-like ball known as a follicle. And when you release an egg from your ovary, it is inside a follicle. So the target here would be your ovaries. For those of you that have taken biology, what do you call sperm and egg? What's the word for that? Gametes. Gametes are sex cells. Please don't get that confused with gonads. Gonads are your reproductive glands, testes, and ovaries. Gametes are your actual sex cells, sperm and egg. So when your sperm comes from your testes, you can say my gametes came from my gonads. Your eggs come from your ovaries, you can say that my gametes came from my gonads. So make sure you know the difference between the two. And then we have the other one, number 5, luteinizing hormone. No, this is number 5. 4 and 5 are gonadotropins. We haven't done the last one yet. This hormone targets the gonads, ovaries and testes, but it stimulates their gonadal hormones. Your gonads are your testes and ovaries. So for testes, what is the hormone that is made by the testes, the gonadal hormone from them? That's the sex cell. That's not a hormone. Sperm is not a hormone. What is the hormone secreted from your testes?
Oh.
Testosterone. Lauren, what are the gonadal hormones that come from the ovaries? There's two of them. Estrogen is one. Think of a birth control pill.
Oh,
Everybody's trying to whisper to you. They're begging you to say it. Thank you, everyone. I'm not letting you take credit for that. Are you kidding me?
I said the first one.
No, you didn't. You said proestrogen.
I said estrogen.
I'll give you credit for that, but you not the second one. Estrogen and progesterone. Okay, now, how would you guys describe the level of these gonadal hormones when you are 7 years old? High or low? Yeah, boys and girls have cooties. Get away from me. Blech. You guys don't have any facial hair. You don't have any armpit hair. You got nothing. You're just little kids. How would you describe the presence and levels of gonadal hormones right now? Pretty high, because you're going from girls to women and boys to men. You're growing up, and part of that is you need a lot of the testosterone or estrogen. So prepubescent, your levels of these hormones right here, testosterone, estrogen, progesterone, they're pretty low. But right now, pretty high. Okay. And finally, number 6, we have done growth hormone, thyroid stimulating hormone, adrenocorticotropic hormone, follicle stimulating hormone, and luteinizing hormone. What's the one we're forgetting? Prolactin. Number 6. What are the targets? Mammary glands. In case you didn't know this, do reptiles have mammary glands? Do fish? Do birds? Do amphibians? Do mammals? It's how our class of organisms gets our name. Mammals, mammary glands. We actually produce milk for our young. No other creature does that. Yes. I think when it's born. Yeah. It targets mammary glands. What does it stimulate the mammary glands to do? Stimulates the production of milk for the young. What's your question, Mason? Are you asking about cow milk? No, mammals. Mammals. Cows are mammals. Yeah, we drink milk from other animals. Is it normal for an adult to drink milk? No. Not only is it not normal, but we also drink milk from another animal.
Oh, you said that drinks milk from another.
Yeah, that's weird. Like when you give your dogs and cats milk, that's not the best thing because they can kind of form calcium pockets. And so, well, that's some cultures are because they're their history, they don't drink milk. It's not part of their culture. Yeah, that they can get stomach aches and poop everywhere. Yeah.
I'm allergic to milk. So like, am I like allergic to it? So
Okay. Let's break that down. That's actually a fair question. You're allergic to milk, so are you allergic to yourself? So let's say Mama Lauren is going to have a little baby girl. You're producing breast milk. How does the milk get you sick? Or when you have allergic, do you touch with your finger or you?
yeah, like I'm very allergic to it. So I just like touch it.
What kind of milk? From what animal? Okay.
But it has, I'm allergic to lactose.
Human milk is going to be a little different. Every creature is just a tad different, like goat's milk versus cow milk, totally different. Goat cheese versus regular cheese you get from cow, totally different. So I would hope to say that you'll be fine one day if you're a Mama Lauren, but that's very interesting though. But I would say there might be the differences between cow and human might be the thing that bails you out. You might not have any issues with you. That's interesting. Okay. Now I was doing some research for you guys and I was reading your textbook. So this might explain a few things for some of you. I'm not going to point anybody out. You just read this to yourself and have that inner monologue. It says a brief rise in prolactin level just before the menstrual period partially accounts for breast swelling and tenderness that some women experience at that time. So some women apparently may experience some tenderness or soreness in their breast tissue when they're on their period at a certain point. That's typically because sometimes prolactin levels can actually rise. And I've shared with you that my fiance's sister just had a baby 5 months ago. And this isn't unique with her. It's like with a lot of moms, they'll say that they're producing milk and it can actually hurt. There's a lot of pressure built up. So she has to, okay, I need the baby to nurse because this is hurting me. There's just, again, high pressure. So if you want to stop breastfeeding, you have to stop the suckling action because the suckling of a baby actually triggers oxytocin. Oxytocin lets the milk down. Prolactin's already made it. So the only way to actually stop producing breast milk is to stop breastfeeding. But it hurts when you have too much breast milk inside. So what do? You could, but that's still going to get it out of there and it's going to replenish. So we were talking about this and eventually you just have to be like, suck it up. This hurts. But if you want to stop producing breast milk, you've got to eventually just tell the baby to get off me. Here's a bottle. I'm done. And if it continues to hurt, you're going to have to just bite your lip and be like, let it subside over time because the levels will lower. Like I would hope to say all of your moms don't produce breast milk now because they haven't had to nurse you for like 16 or 17 years. Their hormone levels for oxytocin and prolactin diminished. On the other hand, you guys know as well as I do, there's some weirdness in society, and there are kids who are breastfed like through elementary school. And how can that mom still be producing breast milk? That kid is born 10 years ago because she's been nursing him the entire time. And the hormones never had a chance to go down. Yeah.
So what happens if they stop producing but they still have access to the interaction?
You typically have to have one with the other. If they're trying to breastfeed but there is no milk there, you're not going to produce it. You have to have the production first and then the suckling later. Yes. Yeah. But anyway, yeah, that's that. All right. Yeah.
So does the milk come from one space or is it stored?
It is, you have several parts of breast tissue and breast anatomy, and we'll learn this in unit 17. There are milk ducts that carry the milk out of the nipple, out of the body. Like if you actually dissected a breast tissue, you would see that there's these multiple ducts that lead to the nipple. That's where the milk leaves. But there's actually glands inside the tissue that produce the milk. And the definition of a duct is just like a pathway. So these glands inside, the mammary glands inside the breast, produce the milk, and oxytocin allows it to go down into the ducts and eventually out the body. Okay. All right. Let's try to do the thyroid and parathyroid, and before you guys are done, then I'll be happy if we can do those two. Thyroid gland is what I meant to write. Your thyroid is located, is it in the front of your neck or in the back of your neck? So what's that word for front? And what's it's located in the interior of the neck. And it is inferior to your larynx. Your larynx is your voice box. When I say it's inferior to the larynx, what does that mean? It is below it. Inferior means below. What means above? Superior. It is the largest pure endocrine gland in your body. When I say pure, I mean it doesn't get shared by another system. Your pancreas is way bigger than your thyroid, but your pancreas is shared by your digestive system. It's not exclusively endocrine. Your thyroid is exclusively your endocrine system. It requires iodine to function appropriately. Did I show you guys a picture of a goiter in this class?
No.
The swollen neck? Yeah, that's a goiter. That's when you have an iodine deficiency. Your thyroid needs iodine to function. And it is made mostly of cuboidal and squamous cells. If you recall, when we did tissue back in the first quarter, we said that cuboidal cells are found mostly in glands. Your thyroid is a great example of that. What hormone stimulates your thyroid? Thyroid stimulating hormone, of course. TSH stimulates the thyroid. If you're thinking too fast, you know, sometimes I get on you guys for speaking before you think. Remember that thyroid stimulating hormone does not come from your thyroid. It comes from your anterior pituitary. And now for thyroid hormone. There's two that you'll need to know. Thyroid hormones. The first one is going to be thyroxine, or TH. This is the body's metabolic hormone. Your thyroid controls your metabolism. Your metabolism is basically how quickly your body is able to use the food that you eat for energy. Some people may say, I have a very fast metabolism. So their bodies convert their food into energy rather quickly. Some people may say, I have a very slow metabolism. So their body really doesn't convert food into energy very quickly. What time of day are you human beings? Do you have a pretty active metabolism, night or day? Let's go over this. What are the differences between having a happy meal at 1 o'clock in the morning versus a happy meal at 1 o'clock in the afternoon? Why is it better in the afternoon, Carson and Lauren? You're moving around, you're active. Under what conditions would you be more likely to actually gain weight? Yeah, it's not good to eat before bed, because when you go to bed, your metabolism is slowed down. And so if you like to have a bunch of snacks before bed, that's one of the worst times. That can actually lead to weight gain. Let's see. So what? Well, it takes several hours for the food to digest. So let's say you have dinner at 7, and when you're going to sleep, it's going to start burning that. It's already been, the process of digestion has already occurred. Not really. It's stored energy, fat. Yes. Yeah. So thyroxine really regulates your metabolism. It targets your whole body. Every single cell in your body needs energy, everybody. All the food that you eat goes into every single cell. The sugars, the fats, the proteins. Your thyroxine hormone helps your cells get that. The other hormone is calcitonin. Calcitonin responds to a rise in blood calcium ion levels. Calcium is a +2 charge. So whenever your calcium levels in your blood get too high, calcitonin lowers them. So that's the function. Calcitonin lowers. You have to study that. Lowers blood calcium levels. Just like insulin lowers blood sugar levels, this lowers blood calcium levels. And as I told you last week, matter cannot be created or destroyed. It doesn't just go poof, gone. It doesn't work that way. Where in your body does the calcium get sent to? When your blood calcium levels are too high, calcitonin lowers those levels. Where's the calcium get shipped to? Your bones. Very good. By the way, in case you don't see the thyroid looks like this. That's the thyroid. Looks like a little butterfly or something. It's under your voice box. It's inferior to your larynx. Your larynx is your voice box. Your voice box is here. The thyroid is like right there. Yeah. Can you what? If it's swollen or if has a tumor, I'm sure it can get into your larynx. That's your cartilage.
Where is it?
Right here. Right there.
Is it like another?
That's your epiglottis. All right. We have about 3 minutes left. I really want to get this one in here. So parathyroid. Where's your parathyroid found? It's found on the thyroid. So if I were to draw the thyroid one more time, there it is. Kind of an ugly thyroid. Here's your parathyroid. It's embedded in the thyroid. Most people have 4 parts of it. Some people can have up to 8, but 4 is typically the normal number. The only hormone that you will need to know for parathyroid, this is not a complicated name. What is it? Parathyroid hormone, or PTH. It does the exact opposite of calcitonin from your thyroid. So what did calcitonin do? It just did this 2 minutes ago. It lowers your blood calcium levels. So what does parathyroid hormone do? It elevates your blood calcium levels. So would we say that parathyroid hormone, is it antagonistic to calcitonin or synergistic? Synergistic means works together. Antagonistic means it works opposite. No, it works against it. Calcitonin lowers your blood calcium. Parathyroid elevates it. It's antagonistic. Where does the calcium come from? It will come from your bones. Very good. This hormone will also target your kidneys. Your kidneys will try to take the calcium out of your urine and put it back in your blood. I'm going to say that again so it's on here for the video. Parathyroid hormone will target your kidneys so that your kidneys can actually take the calcium from your urine and put it back in your blood. And it will do the same thing with your digestive system. It wants to take the calcium from the food that you're eating and put it into your blood. So one last time, what does parathyroid hormone do? Elevate or lower calcium? Elevates it. What hormone lowers it? Calcitonin. Are these two hormones antagonistic or synergistic? They're antagonistic. They work opposite of each other. One lowers, one elevates. All right.